Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Rise Against the Machine, 100% teleprompter free. I do apologize. It's been a couple of days, been slow news feed, and it's all my fault. I had a bad accident that basically destroyed my left knee. I'm going through physical therapy, grueling physical therapy. After I'm done with it, I just don't feel like writing or doing any segments or anything like that. So mostly I spend my time reading and not doing commercials because I'm in a lot of pain during that time. So I apologize in advance for any future slow news days. But I try my best to always bring at least something new every day to my audience. I'm very happy and thankful that I have a faithful audience like you, audience that wants to be educated and that wants to stay informed on the relevant topics of today in American society for us. So, right quick, this is going to be a segment about senior al-Qaeda leader Khalid Batarfi released a fatwa a few days ago. Now it's like several days ago, but same thing with these guys. Excuse me. He says that all Muslims have been commanded by Allah to take up jihad and kill all Jews and Americans all over the world. Now I'm going to read from it specifically what he says here. And it says, Khalid Batarfi said that President Trump's move was a declaration of a new Jewish crusader war. It shows you how much this guy, senior al-Qaeda Muslim cleric, who's proclaiming fatwas, he doesn't know anything about his own religion, about his own history. All he knows is about the radical rubbish that's swirling around in his decrepit head. Now, it says that Batarfi made threats in an 18-minute video entitled Our Duty Towards Jerusalem. Now, he said the Saudi Arabian militant said every Muslim has a duty to liberate Jerusalem, which is the holiest city in Islam, as well as Judaism and Christianity. He said no Muslim has the right to see Jerusalem no matter what happens. Only a traitor would give it up or hand it over. Let them, the Muslims, rise and attack the Jews and Americans everywhere. He goes on to say, the greatest responsibility lies upon the Muslims in America and the Western countries in the world. The Muslims inside the occupied land of Israel must kill every Jew by running him over or stabbing him or by using against them any weapon or by burning their homes. Well, you know what? It seems like this Khalid Batarfi doesn't know much about his Islamic history. First of all, he says Jewish crusader war. Is he aware that the Jews and the Muslims under the caliphates were united against their stand against the Crusaders? Does he know that under the Muslims and the caliphate, especially in the Iberian Peninsula and in the Syrian areas, that the Jews had enjoyed the greatest freedom, the golden age of Judaism under the Islamic Caliphate? This guy forgot all that stuff. It doesn't seem like he's a very learned cleric after all, isn't he? Well, let me show you something else where I guess this guy doesn't know. He said that no Muslim has the right to see Jerusalem? What? Wait a minute. You see, after Muhammad had married his wife Khadija, let me get this right, Khadija bint Khuwaylid al-Kubra. After he married her, she was a Hashemite of the Banu Hashim, which was a Semitic tribe that did descend from the people of Israel. So she was a Jew, whether she was a practitioner or not, I don't know. But what I do know, she did have a lot of Jewish influence in her family. I believe her uncle was a Syrian Christian from Damascus, if I'm not mistaken. But I do know that her family was very much associated with the Jewish and Christian cultures. In his travels, as he became a young man, in his travels doing trading for his wife Khadija, he met a lot of Jewish rabbis, theologians. He saw a lot of worship between pagans, Christians, and Jews going on. He conversed, listened to discussions and whatnot during his time. So he absorbed everything. And it was only after this that he had developed this ideology that it was to become Islam. Ironically, this Islam, purification before prayer, just like the Jews, prayer exactly like the Jews, but prostrating to the ground and sitting up, coming up, except that the Muslims do it twice and then come up. Dietary laws, the fast and Ashura, which is synonymous, analogous to Yom Kippur, and even the Qibla. In Islam, the Qibla is the direction in which they face. Now, in modern times today, the Muslims face the Kaaba, which is, if you don't know what the Kaaba is, that is the Qibla, the direction, Qibla, that the Muslims face now, which they face east. People say they face east. No, they don't face east. They face towards the Kaaba. The Kaaba is that Borg scout ship looking cubical object sitting in the middle of Mecca that they make their pilgrimage called Hajj once a year if they're able to. Now, the Qibla for the Muslims, the direction to pray, was initially Baytul Maqdis, the Masjid al-Aqsa, which was in Jerusalem, the same direction that Muhammad had saw the Jews praying. See, he had saw the Jews doing certain things. He saw the Jews facing in certain directions, and so he adopted that into what he made as Islam. Just said that it was the real way. He even said that, yes, the Jews were the first one. That was the true religion, but it just became adulterated. So, if I got you lost already, let me simplify it. Muhammad and all the Muslims in the beginning were facing Jerusalem along with the Jews in prayer. It was during the Zuhr prayer that Ayah 144 in Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed to Muhammad, now Prophet Muhammad, through the angel Jibril, in which the Muslims were now instructed to turn and face the Kaaba. So, if you didn't put that together, the Muslims were facing Jerusalem. In the middle of the prayer, all of a sudden, they turned their back on Jerusalem and faced the Kaaba. So this guy, Khalid Batarfi, is talking about that the Muslims have no right to see Jerusalem. They must stand for Jerusalem and everything. But he doesn't seem to remember the history that the Muslims had turned their back on Jerusalem a long time ago. What school did this guy learn that? Oh yeah, probably the same school all the other terrorist radical jackasses learned that. The one where they don't teach a smidgen of Islam and they just teach hate and evil. Because just like every religion, yeah, some religion might be bad, but there are always good things in the religion. It seems like nowadays they don't remember anything good that was part of Islam. So not only did Muhammad say you're no longer to fast on the same day as the Jews, you are no longer to face Jerusalem, and that's why he said it's the holiest spot. And Jerusalem, the holiest spot in Islam? No, 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 no. It's the third holiest spot. They turned their back on Jerusalem and they demoted Jerusalem. So you know what? The Muslims had turned their back and had ceded Jerusalem a long time ago. That's the reason why in the land of Palestine, no, it's not true that there was nobody there when the state of Israel was established. Yeah, there was people there already, Jews and Muslims. But the thing is very interesting that the capital for those Palestinians was not Jerusalem. All of a sudden, when they want to make the state of Israel, all of a sudden they want to claim Jerusalem. It looks like an opportunistic political move to me, not a religious one, which means they are the ones that have no right to Jerusalem. Very hypocritical, very wrong. And this is the reason why we need to make it very serious thing to watch these Muslims. Because let me tell you something. The store was closed down the street over there. And when the DA had investigated, they had found out that they were selling drugs coming from Afghanistan under the table, that they were sending money to al-Qaeda linked networks and fronts for Muslim Brotherhood. You know, I go into these stores sometimes and I hear these Arabs speaking in Arabic, and I can understand them, and they don't know that, but I understand them, and I hear the vile and just deplorable things that they say about our president and about our country. Even under Obama, they had all the worst things to say about this country. And yeah, okay, so they don't really want ISIS running amok in the country. But let me tell you something. If they blew up the White House, they would be happy about it. That's the problem. And I just want everyone to know that. See, maybe like in Kansas or in Missouri or whatever, I don't know how you guys live. But I'm telling you, it's real here in New York City. They are here. I was walking down the street once in front of a masjid called Al-Farouk in Brooklyn on Atlantic and 4th. And they had guys out there in front of there preaching about the al-Qaeda and the Taliban is our friend. And yes, I did tell the authorities about it. I don't know what they did about it. But fact is, I see it happening everywhere. They know about it. It's happening. This is why we can't be politically correct and act like the invasion is not happening. It's we'd like it not to be happening, but it is. And they're doing it right under our noses, under the guise of compassion. But if you're a Christian, American Christians, you should be nice, huh? You should be compassionate, huh? Yeah, while I strap this bomb. They're sick folks, And that's why I'm here educating, because I know a lot of people don't know this. They just have an irrational hate for Islam. Just like, what's that Millwall guy that the London Bridge attack? He was a Millwall football supporter, a soccer supporter, and he's like, F you, I'm Millwall. And he goes to fight the terrorists, and they stab him in the neck and the arms and all that. He ends up in the shelter because he's all messed up. This guy, I understand. He almost got killed by Islamic terrorists. So he says something about Muslims, hateful and stuff, spits on a guy, and he gets thrown in jail, fined and $1,000 and whatnot. I think like 500 pounds, almost $1,000 American money, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing is like, okay. So yeah, the guy was being like racist and discriminatory, just screaming out, slurs and whatnot, and it's not very helpful. But at the same time, at least the guy is aware. He's not in denial. And though that does not help us, that does not help the real resistance, us, the conservatives, the Americans, we need to know what we should be standing against. Yeah, to be going around saying that Muslims are drinking camel piss. So, yeah, get them out because they're drinking camel piss. That's stupid. And that's counterintuitive and counterproductive. That's why I do my best. I bring my knowledge. I am a scholar in ancient Semitic religions and Near Eastern cultures and religions, and have specialization in Islamic and Jewish studies. So I'm using my knowledge and this medium, my page, my blog, to be able to inform you guys so you know what really is going on. You don't believe the conspiracy, you believe the fact. You don't believe the hype, you believe the truth. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching.